Well, hello, my name is Andy Tidy and welcome back to the very first episode of Series 8 of Canal Hunter. For those of you that are new to the channel, Canal Hunter is all about sharing my passion, some would say obsession, for the unpicking of the history of Britain's 4,000 miles of inland waterways. And because I live near Birmingham in the middle of England, which has its unique network of Industrial Revolution era canals, many of my videos explore this rich history in my local network. In my previous series, I've explored the lost 60 miles of the original 160 miles of the Birmingham Canal navigations. But for this season, it's time for a bit of a change. Rather than just look for those lost fragments, which at times can be a little bit difficult to follow, in this series we're going to explore Brindley's original Birmingham Canal navigation, end to end. This is a really significant waterway because it was one of the earliest UK canals, built just after Brindley had finished engineering the Bridgewater Canal near Manchester, and just before Brindley's Grand Cross was completed, linking the Mersey, the Trent, the Severn and the Thames. In fact, September 2022 represents the 250th anniversary of the Birmingham Canal being connected to the nearby Staffs and Worcester Canal, and so connecting it into the embryonic integrated canal network that we know today. We're going to trace the whole 22.5 mile line as it was originally constructed, a line that Brindley would recognise if he was here today. Now that is not quite as easy as it sounds, because a lot of the line has been reconstructed and improved over the years, and then large sections were lost in the 1950s and the 1960s. We've covered all of those sections in the earlier series, and you can take a look at those if you fancy a spot of binge watching. Now, logic would suggest that we start the series at the beginning, in Birmingham. But it just so happens that the union of the Birmingham Canal and the Staffs and Worcester is being celebrated this September, at this very point at the bottom of Wolverhampton's 20 locks, just where it happened 250 years ago. 20? I hear you cry, but there are 21 locks at Wolverhampton. Everybody knows that. Well, Brindley only built 20 locks, and as I said, we're staying true to Brindley's original line. So if you stick with the series, all will be revealed. So for this series, we are starting at the very end, and in the format of so many whodunit stories, we'll be returning to the start and then showing how the two are linked together. This reenactment is being staged by the Canal and River Trust, supported by some historic craft. And it's even rumoured that the worthy Mr. Brindley will be making an appearance himself. No expense is being spared for this Series 8 of Canal Hunter. So let's go and see what Mr. Brindley makes of it all.
To help us understand what was going on, we have three historic figures standing on the bridge over the Staffs and Worcester Canal. I'll introduce them one by one. Firstly, Sir Edward Littleton, a very important local character a landed proprietor, a wealthy man, and the chairman of the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal Company. So thank you, Sir Edward, for your presence here today. Secondly, James Brindley. James Brindley was the greatest canal engineer of his generation, and he worked on both the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal and the Birmingham Canal. The second one had been a little problematic to complete. The flight of 20 locks down from Wolverhampton took a while to complete, and by the time the junction was ready to open, the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Company was getting rather fed up with the Birmingham Canal Company for their tardiness. But thankfully in September the two canals were finally joined. So Mr. Brindley, I thank you. Thirdly, we have Mr. John Baker, a very important person. He was Clerk of the Works to the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal Company. So although James Brindley was involved in the general layout and design of the canal, it fell to John Baker to actually make sure that it all happened. So many thanks, Mr. Baker.
Right, so I think we're nearly ready to open the canal. It's been 6 years in the making. It wasn't easy, but it's all done now. We're about to make the connection. My colleague, Mr. Baker, is ready to summon the boat to make the connection. So, Mr. Baker, are we ready? Yes. Mr. Baker, are we ready? The boat is ready to leave to make the connection. Thank you very much, sir. Look forward to seeing the boat.
And here it is. Well done, navigators. Of course, in 1772 it wouldn't have had an engine, it would have had a loss. Here it is coming into tide. At this spot, two canals joined. The Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal running through the Aldersley Gap and linking Great Hayward near Stafford with Stourport on the River Severn, and the Birmingham Canal, which obviously came from Birmingham and completed its journey to Aldersley. And the two canals joined on the 21st of September 1772.
And it links the west coast via the River Severn to the east coast via the River Trent. 46 miles, and I was there when the first spade went in the ground at Compton Lock 5 years ago. So I think we need a round of applause to the navvies with just shovels and wheelbarrows and the sweat on our brow. 46 miles of canal in just 5 years. Spending the money stopped, so it's money's gone into this. We want to get it back again.
Thank you, that was lovely.
You've got deep pockets. Oh, it's forever. That way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You will vote for me this year.
Now, Season 8 features a new bit of kit, the DJI Pocket 2 gimbal camera, which should eradicate some of those wobbly moving shots that you've seen previously. This was all paid for by the revenue generated from those rather pesky Google ads that you see at the beginning. So you've all played your part in that. Thank you. If you like this episode, don't forget to click the subscribe and like buttons. That will make sure that you're notified when future videos are released. This whole project has become something of a shared endeavour, and I would love even more people to appreciate the historical significance of this network of Industrial Revolution era canals. So feel free to share it around and add comments, which all add to the body of historical knowledge. Now, if you plan to follow these series over the coming weeks, there are 2 publications which you may like to buy, which will undoubtedly enhance the experience for you. The first is Richard Dean's Canals of Birmingham, a highly detailed map which covers the entire BCN system as it was, and it will really help you keep on track. The second one is a recently launched book by Phil Clayton, The Birmingham Canal Navigations: A History. Both of these publications are available online from the Audlam Mill bookshop. The map is a £5 and Phil's book is £18.99. I'll add a link in the description field below so that you can find it with ease. Well, next time we'll be back in central Birmingham to start exploring Brindley's Birmingham Canal end to end. But until then, happy hunting, and I will see you soon.